my honor to welcome His Honor, Raz J. Baraka, to today's commencement ceremony. As the 40th mayor of the city of Newark, he is a beacon of progressive leadership and inspiration. I also believe he deserves some congratulations as well for being elected for the 4th time. Just recently. Congratulations. Born and raised in Newark with deep roots spanning over 70 years, his visionary governance has earned praise from grassroots movements to the highest echelons of power. Mayor Baraka has shattered expectations, transforming Newark into a model city of innovation and resilience. His forward-thinking policies have sparked economic growth, generating an over $2 billion development pipeline and an award-winning master plan. Under his leadership, Newark has achieved its lowest crime rates in 6 decades, reducing chronic homelessness by 57%. He replaced all 23,000 known lead service lines in less than 3 years and at no cost to the residents. A product of Newark Public Schools with advanced degrees in political science and education supervision, his unwavering commitment to education is deeply personal. Beyond returning local control to Newark schools after more than 2 decades, he has championed academic advancement by supporting countless students. Most notably, this includes providing special support for 40 SEU students from Newark through his Guaranteed Education program, many of whom are graduating today. Beyond politics, he is a multifaceted individual, respected author and artist, bringing the rich cultural heritage of his father, legendary poet Amiri Baraka, to his unique leadership perspective. Yet his greatest source of pride remains his family, including his wife, Linda J. Baraka, and their children. Nationally, he serves in numerous executive roles with the National League of Cities, the New Jersey League of Municipalities, and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. A true embodiment of resilience, integrity, and vision. His legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. Please join me in welcoming Raz J. Baraka.
Good morning. First, I would like to thank President Dr. Gary Crosby for thinking it not robbery to invite me here today, to Associate Vice President of Enrollment, Dr. David Hill. Thank you, brother, for thinking that I could add value to today's ceremony. Such a historic day for you and this university, for the city of Newark as well. Today we witness one of our first cohorts in the Guaranteed Education program graduate today. Many who would have never believed that this day would be possible. If you indulge me for a second, could the students from the Guaranteed Education program please stand? You can be seated. I would like to tell you that today you made the devil a liar. That every hole they dug for you, you climb out of. Every trap they set for you, you released yourself from, and every stronghold God has torn down for you. Today, I want you to bathe in this moment, glorify yourself in this minute here, and remember that this is your beginning and not your ending. As they contemplate the students here, their individual and collective journeys through difficult and often unconquerable terrain, to be here side by side with all of you, many of you yourselves overcoming countless obstacles, remembering that it's not how you started, but how you finish. We all began our day a little different. We woke up in different cities and towns. We took different roads and left homes of apartments with different family configurations, routines, and cultural practices. But you will all finish this day a graduate of St. Elizabeth. Congratulations, class of 2026. What is happening here today is profound, even remarkable given what we see going on in the world. Strife and war, the pain of insecurity and inhumanity. And here today you look so beautiful, so confident, and I pray that the happiness of this moment stays with you forever and reminds you how blessed you are and how important it is for you to be successful and to make that success contagious. Our country is at a crossroads. Its future decided by which path we decide to take, greed or service, by selfishness or sacrifice, authoritarianism or democracy. The division that is born out of hatred and confusion, or the promise that is swelling your hearts right now, that your parents feel with the tears in their eyes, bursting with pride that can only come through equity and opportunity. And so tomorrow when you wake and this day is behind you, remember that this was the beginning of it all, not the end. That there's so much more for you to do, so much road ahead of you, and everything that you've gone through will be made useful in time. Every stop on your journey, every fall, every tear, each moment of despair and doubt, every hardship and missed opportunity, every loss and every betrayal. But so will all of your triumphs. And honestly, there's a lot to be afraid of, but your belief in yourself and desire to reach your goal has to be stronger than your fear. Just think of all you had to do to get to this place, all you had to overcome, to set aside, how many times and days you had to start again. It makes you appreciate where you are. But more importantly, you have discovered that is in fact possible, that no matter what life puts in front of you, you can still win. That hard is a part of the process. In fact, you want hard. You want it to be difficult because, like they say, easy come, easy go. It takes a lot to be a mayor of a city, especially a city like Newark. I first ran for mayor in 1994. I was only 24 years old, fresh out of college with a degree in history and political science. I thought I knew everything, but I quickly found out I was wrong. A school teacher at Warren Street School, I lost that race, but I didn't give up. I ran again and again and again and again, and I didn't win anything until 16 years later. I became councilman of the South Ward, then mayor. I didn't keep running because I knew I would win one day. I kept running because I was no longer afraid of losing. I've done that before. Our fear of being wrong stops us from getting it right. Every day that I got up, I was breathing, and if I was still breathing, I was still living. If I'm still living, I had another chance, another opportunity to get it right. And every time I fell down, I looked up, and if I could look up, then I could get up. And if I could get up, I could do it one more time. If you would have stopped me 18 years old on Avon and 14th in Newark in front of Yusef Steak and Take and told me that I'll be riding in the Beast, the bulletproof car that the first African-American president of the United States was in, I would have called you crazy then. But God has a way of making our small ideas big ones. That sometimes we are stubbornly, even desperately, holding on to something or even a version of ourselves that has outlived its usefulness. And we have to let it go so that we can make room for our blessing. I've learned that everything that is in my hand is in my power. I'm sure one day in your journey you will read Martin Luther King Jr. in his book, Why We Can't Wait. And if you haven't in all of your schooling, then something is terribly wrong. When Martin Luther King Jr. was arrested in Birmingham, all he had on him was his Bible. They took his Bible as property and they put it in his jail. They put a jail number in it. When he was arrested, they took his Bible as property, and the same Bible they took made its way out of that jail through the March on Washington, through the Jim Crow South, to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, to Memphis, where he was murdered, all the way to the inaugural address at the White House, where the first African-American president, Barack Obama, put his left hand on that same Bible that King was arrested with. I bet that jailer didn't know in Birmingham when he took that book that same book would defy his right now and make it to tomorrow, that only God could have thought to do that, to turn history on itself, to have that book show up at one of the greatest moments in the greatest times, one of the richest, most powerful nations on the planet, to make the least the most. He can take Frederick Douglass, a self-taught runaway slave, and make him a gifted orator, a thinker, and an abolitionist, and put him in the middle of history as he stood and watched Abraham Lincoln sign the Emancipation Proclamation in the District of Columbia. He took Mary McLeod Bethune, born number 15 of 17 brothers and sisters to parents that were slaves, freed at the end of the Civil War, had a dream to be an educator and open a school for teachers. She sold odd items, even sweet potato pies, to get a school up and running. Later on, her school became what we know today as Bethune-Cookman University, a well-renowned HBCU. And then there's Sarah Breedlove. We know her as Madam C.J. Walker. Her parents and all of her siblings were slaves. She was the first one born into freedom after the Civil War. As she grew, she found work in a laundry for $1 a day. She worked for a hair care company and later began to sell her own products. She got married, changed her name to C.J. Walker, and became one of the most successful business persons known in history as one of the first black millionaires this country has ever seen. There are many stories like these, dozens of them, people struggling through seemingly immovable odds, creating opportunity out of nothing, fighting when there's nothing to fight with, hoping in a sea of despair, being their own light in a cavern of darkness, having faith to take a step when there's no staircase in sight. And this is what is expected of you today. In fact, the times demand it. The jobs that are being created, we don't even know what they are yet. The unpredictable, even insurmountable moments that we are in call for more than mediocrity and small ideas. It calls for courage. My real motivation for accepting this speech here is to plead with you. The world needs you. We have problems that we don't have the will or imaginations to solve. Problems of gun violence and poor health care. We're attacking immigrants and people for praying differently from us. We have not learned how to feed and clothe and house everyone in the richest country on the planet. We have problems that only you can solve. And when I say you, I'm not talking about some other people in some other school in some other community. I'm talking about you sitting here in these seats today. The path you took, the road that you're on is difficult. It was made difficult on purpose. It will be even more difficult as you go because what you have to do is so big, so great, so impossible that it needed to be difficult so you can accomplish what God has in store for you. You have already accomplished one part of this, and that is being here in these seats today. But you have to have this almost unreasonable idea that everything that is and has ever happened can be changed, and more importantly, that you can change it. And even worse, you have a personal responsibility, almost a duty to do it yourself. I want you to have these outrageous and even unrealistic ideas. Everybody tells you to have realistic goals. They mean have safe ones that they think they can accomplish. I want you to do what they can't do, what they don't dare to do, what they don't have the courage to do. A great philosopher said that there are people that think they can do things and others who think they can't, and that both of them are right. It was an unreasonable idea that you could get on your phone right now and find out anything you want in the world to know and translate it into any language you want without leaving your seat in less than 10 minutes, but it is possible. We have to decide that racism will end, that poverty will end, that children won't die of curable diseases, that everyone will have a great and free education, that we have to decide that people will not die from hatred in sanctuaries of their church, their school, their masjid, their synagogue, that we can create a place where food is abundant and water is safe, where we can create wealth, but not at the expense of millions of other people, that generations before us have made a lot of decisions, but today, you young people, it's time for you to make your own decisions. I'm an artist at heart, and I'm going to close here. It keeps me grounded, and the best of us at our craft are artists actually. We turn the fundamentals of what we have learned and perform them so brilliantly and creatively, we become artists. Art is extremely important. It is the application of convention, the manipulation and manifestation of science. Robeson said, Paul Robeson, that artists are the gatekeepers of truth, civilization's radical voice. Albert Einstein went on, that true intelligence is not determined by knowledge, but by imagination. James Baldwin wrote that the role of the artist is to illuminate the darkness, to blaze roads through vast forests, so that we will not, in all of our doing, lose sight of its purpose, which after all is to make the world a more humane dwelling place. Charlie Chaplin spoke, saying that life is a play that does not allow testing. So sing, cry, dance, laugh, and live intensely before the curtain closes and the piece ends with no applause. John Coltrane in the interview said he wanted to be a force for good, that he knew there was forces that bring misery in the world, but he wanted to be the opposite of that force. And finally, my father, Amiri Baraka, wrote, the one that sticks with me forever, that the noblest function of art is to oppose what is ugly. So your job is a big one. Develop new equations, build buildings, pass policies, create cures for diseases, opportunities for hundreds, employ thousands, rebuild neighborhoods, bring life into communities where communities are dying, live and dance when the world grows stiff with indifference, scream in the face of silent despair. We need you to be Coltrane's horn, Nina's voice. We need you to be Bob Marley's rhythm, a Shakespearean sonnet. We need Jimi Hendrix's guitar right now, a Frida Kahlo painting, the word of Aimé Césaire or Jose Marti. We need you to be Baldwin's Fire Next Time or his Blues for Mr. Charlie. We need a Baraka poem right now than ever. We need D'Artagnan from the Three Musketeers. We need the clarity of the Grapes of Wrath and the beauty. We need creativity, and more importantly, we need you to have the courage to bring beauty into the world. We don't need you to just be smart. We need you to take risk. So when you leave here, show the world who you are, but more importantly, let who you are change the world. Godspeed to the class of 2026. And in the words of the great philosopher Jay-Z, since you made it here, you can make it anywhere.